Hey friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is the devotional word for April 12th, 2024. This is out of the Gospel of Luke chapter 14. In Luke 14, we see Jesus continuing his march towards Jerusalem where he knows that the cross awaits him. But he's been gathering a crowd as he moves forward towards Jerusalem. We pick up the story in Luke 14, verse 25. Now great multitudes went with him. And he turned and said to them, now they're interested in Jesus. They like what they see. They like what they hear. But Jesus is going to challenge them very strongly. If you want to follow me, you need to really think it over because the cost is high. Jesus said, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Jesus here is not telling us to hate our family, but that in comparison to our love and devotion for him, our familial relationships would almost seem like hate. There are so many people in the churches, in Christendom, that say family first. That's an unbiblical concept. It's Jesus first. It's always Jesus first. Now, putting Jesus first may dictate and may lead you to spend a lot of time with your family, to be sure. And God wants us to love our family. But Jesus is saying, don't love your family more than you love me. Verse 27, and whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. The cross was the instrument of death. The government of Rome used the cross to execute Jews or anybody else that came against the Roman government. The cross was a one-way ticket. Nobody came back from the cross. In our culture here in America, sometimes we say, it's just my cross to bear. It might be that we had a financial setback. It might be that we have an illness or somebody that we love has an illness, and we say, that's my cross to bear. But in those instances, those things were put upon us and we didn't volunteer for them. Certainly there are difficulties and God wants to help us. But that's not the context of the cross, because Jesus said, you need to pick up your cross. You need to volunteer for it. It's not forced upon you. You need to volunteer for it. And so we need to put Jesus first in all things, even at the great cost of some difficulties in our life. Verse 28 says, for which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it? Jesus is saying to the multitude, you're following me, but do you know what you're getting into? Don't follow me because I'm popular. Don't follow me because I'm intriguing. Don't follow me because you like to hear what I say or see the things that I do. Follow me because you want to be saved, and it's going to cost you everything in regards to putting me first. Jesus said, lest after he has laid the foundation, he's not able to finish, and all who see it begin to mock him. So some people start off in their interest and in their following of Jesus, but they never finish because they discover the cost is too high. Jesus never offered easy believism. He laid down the terms of discipleship very clearly. Verse 30, or what king going to make war against another king does not sit down first and consider whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him who comes against him with 20,000? Or else, while the other is still a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks for conditions of peace. Jesus says, listen, if you're facing something that's greater than you, you need to decide to surrender. You don't want to get into something that you're not able to finish. And Jesus here is pointing to the fact that we need to surrender. Surrender has been defined as giving in or giving yourself over to the winning side. And so to surrender to Jesus is to give yourself over to the winning side. But you need to be prepared to do that. You need to put him first over family. You need to put him first over your own life. You need to consider if you're able to finish this thing. Do you have the intention of finishing your commitment to Jesus? Have you thought it through? Finally, Jesus said, so likewise, whoever of you does not forsake all that he has cannot be my disciple. In some ways, it's impossible to know if we can finish. humanly speaking. We don't know how costly it's going to be to follow Jesus. By his grace and with his help, we can finish. But are you entering into a relationship with Jesus with the intention of, when something comes my way that is contrary to him, am I going to choose to follow him? Am I going to pick up my cross? Am I going to deny myself? Am I going to put him first? Jesus said, if you're not willing to do that, then you're not worthy of following him. But what a blessing it is to follow Jesus Christ, to know the love of God, to know the forgiveness and the mercy of God, to know that your shame, it has been washed away, to know that there's a place reserved in heaven for you, to enter into a worldwide family that doesn't depend on culture or sameness of language or anything else, except for the fact that we all in common have the Spirit of God within us. It's a tremendous blessing. I've never regretted giving my life to Jesus Christ. It is a high cost, but it's worth it. So, some thoughts for you to consider. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.